First off, I just want to start by saying, Rihanna, you son of a beach ball, you did it with that bra. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Shianajoi. Please like, comment, subscribe, join the family. If you're not new, hey girl, hey. Today's video is basically just going to be about okay, we're not doing that again. We're not. Anywho, today's video is going to be about self-love and confidence. Basically, I get a lot of compliments of people saying they love my confidence, they love that I love myself so much, and like sometimes it's like real like because I'm fat and other times it's like, oh, thank you, like I know it's because you know what I've been through, and you know that it's hard to love yourself as a person, genuinely, especially as a person with depression, a black you know, female, shit, it's hard to love yourself, period. So just some tips and tricks that I do, things I do, things I recommend. I definitely, first of all, recommend, I guess one would be that you should see a therapist. I definitely believe every person of color especially, but everyone in general should see a therapist. And if you are of color, I would specify a person of color as well. And when I say that because, for one, I primarily have had a lot of white therapists in my life, and not that that's not a bad thing. My last therapist, we're not gonna drop names, but she's helped me so much. She's given me so much knowledge that I've actually even given to my friends, and they've been like, oh, that was like legit as fuck. So I'm gonna drop her name, but tell your girl that like she really helps me as well. And I'm like, yeah, no problem, let me tell her. But like, you know, I've learned a lot from my white therapist, so I'm not saying that they cannot be good therapists. I'm just saying that you feel more heard with a black therapist. And I'll say that because there's been times with my white therapist in the past where I've explained, like, for instance, a argument I've had with my mother, and my therapist would be like, well, why didn't you set that boundary that she cannot speak to you in that manner? And I'm like, I can't tell my mother that if she, you know, yells at me over the phone one more time, I'm going to tell her that I'm not talking to her for a month, because that's like, I don't know what can happen to my mom in a month, you know? And it's like things like that. It was like she wasn't really getting it. Like I feel like for her, at least from what I see a lot in my culture, like I see a lot of white families that are really close, and then I see a lot that aren't. And then same thing with black families, same thing with all families. But I feel like with white families a little more, they're like, fuck Uncle Larry. So, you know, like I feel like it's easier for her to be like, say fuck your mom, than like a black therapist. Like a black therapist was like, oh girl, I understand. It was one of those like we arguing over who made the grades and she put too much salt in them, and it was one of those where she should have just apologized and called it a day, but instead y'all arguing. And I'm like, yeah girl, that's the situation. Like they just understand it better, and they can give you a little more insight from the black female perspective, for one, if you're a black female. And they just relate better, you know? Like, at least in my opinion, that was my experience. I was like, okay, going to a black female therapist now, I'm like, oh, we're here. like me and the other girl, we were here, but we're here. You know, so that would be one. Two would be having an organized schedule, at least for your care days. Like I know every week I cut my hair. I used to cut, color, dye my hair, cut, color, and dye my hair, and then do my nails, figure out something for my eyebrows before I stencil them, and get my nails, my toenails, and I'll like clean my apartment. Maybe get myself some lunch, buy myself something off of Amazon. I'm really trying to not use Amazon. It's just so fucking convenient. Damn. Like, no, but I'm really gonna stop, guys. Like, deadass though. Hold me accountable. Don't. Garfield's drinking his water so hard right now. My neighbor's stomping. Music banging. This music banging. Yes, so having a set day to do self-care, even if it's just cleaning up your home, even if it's just to take like an hour out to like go to Panera and get a soup and salad and sit there and eat that soup and salad and look at the carousel, I can't say that word right. Another thing that I do, another thing would be to have some kind of, I don't want to say motivational words or message that you see every day, but I do have like, hold on, okay, I had to grab some props. So this would be something that I recommend. It's a calendar, and every day it has little like things it says. This one is for today and tomorrow. And it says the rule, or it's a poem. So the rules: respect her mind, feed her soul, protect her peace, guard her heart. And it's by R.H. Sen. I love this. There's one for every day of the year. So there's 365. So I read that every day. And then I recommend some good...
It was him.
Poetry books. This was the one of my coworkers put me on to. It's about having a parent with bipolar disorder. Ice Cream and Suicide is a good poetry book. A lot of poems about repairing yourself, learning to love yourself, looking at, you know, moving on from things that have hurt you. I do have my little generics. Wait, this is one of them. The Story of Princess Turned to Damsel. Oh, this one is about self-love as well, I believe. It's been a minute since I read it. Let me look at some ones I have saved. Yes, one of my favorite ones is this one here. Okay, so okay, open your ears to this one. Okay, this is the only part of it. Just because they don't hit you doesn't mean it isn't abuse. Exactly. All right, and then another one would be, oh, I love this one. This is amazing. How to Be Alone If You Don't Want to, If You Want to, and Even If You Don't, by Lane Moore. She's actually really cool. I messaged her after I read the book, and she was super sweet. And it's just a really cool book about her childhood trauma and learning to grow up, or I guess thrive in New York, and just learning that like people can be shitty to you even if you're not a shitty person, and it doesn't mean that you deserve it, and it doesn't mean that like that's life, but like, you know, you can make it good, I guess, despite that. And she talks about your like, I forgot what she fucking called them in the book, but like your happy accident people, like happy strangers, I think she called them, I can't remember, but they're like people you meet out of nowhere but are super sweet to you, super loving, super nice, and would do anything for you and don't even like know anything about you. And I would like to think of myself as one of those people for other people. And like, I like that she said that in the book, because I feel like I've met so many people like that, like people that I only talked to one time, but they blessed my life, or they touched my life in such a manner that was like really detrimental to who I am as a character. Like, I remember back when I was working at AT&T, I had a customer tip me like $100 once, just because, just really long story. And her kid was seizure prone, and he had his cell phone, and her bill was late, and it was literally like $100 that she had to pay, and it was due in like a week. and she was just like, please don't cancel my service. And I was like begging AT&T like not to cancel her service. I'm like, her son's literally autistic, he can have a seizure any moment. If he has a seizure and he fucking dies, like, that's y'all. Do y'all want to have that as a life? Like, can you sleep at night with that as a thought? And I'm like going back and forth with them. They weren't trying to hear it. I was just like, fuck it. I took my debit card out and I paid for it for her. She was like, oh my god, thank you so much, I'll pay you back next week, I swear I will, I swear I will, I swear I will. And I'm like, it's okay, take your time, I understand you're a single parent. She had 2 kids, she had like a beater car. I was like, dude, I get it. Like, my mom was a single mom, like, I get it. You don't have to rush. Like, I'm gonna be here every day, any day, you know. I'm not gonna hunt you down for that $100. I mean, I wasn't like hurting for it. I was living with my mom. I didn't have any bills. I had no whoop no more. I had Davey. No, I didn't have Davey. Who did I have? I had Jethro. Jethro was Speed Racer. Jethro was a white Hyundai Sonata 3 Straits. But I had Jethro, so he had a little car note. It was like $115 a month. You know, baby note. Usually preach, big girl preaching. Yeah. So yeah, it was nice that when she did return it to me, she returned it to me and more. Like, she gave me $200 and I only let her borrow $100. And I was kind of like, it's those kind of things that I'm like, wow, like, I was just doing what I thought any good person or any, like, honestly, any person with like moral high ground would have kind of done. Like, any person that had the means or the ability to would have done. I remember taking the money out of my savings account and being like, damn, I'm kind of mad I'm doing this right now, but I'm doing it, you know. Like, I'm not even in like, what would Jesus do? Just like, what would my mom do? Like, what would, like, if this was my mom, when I wanted someone to do it for her, like, that kind of type of situation. I think when I have situations like that, I'm helping someone, and karma or the universe or God or whomever is like, wow, like, shout out to you, like, congrats, you do that. And then they give you another pat on the back later on. So it reminded me of another time where I helped this lady at the fucking car wash. She was trying to vacuum her car out and she couldn't bend properly, so I did it for her. I literally did this lady's whole front seat for her. And I realized now, and I'm like, wait, slavery? But I did her whole front seat for her, and she was like, thanks so much, dear. And I was like, no problem. And then she turned around and gave me $20 later. Like, she literally hunted me down after my car went through the car wash. It was $20. So it's stuff like that that I'm like, okay, I don't mind being nice. Like, I was just kind of raised that way, but it's cool when, you know, your kindness is instant repel. So how did we get here?
And other magic tricks is a good one. You know, the other books I have here.
So another really good thing I would recommend is a good girl group or friend group, I guess, group chat to be in that you can talk to openly about your problems. Like, I have my friends, we talk to each other about everything. I have my like out-of-state friends, and I have like my local friends that I hang out with like every other weekend-ish kind of. So just know who you can trust with your information and tell them about your stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of friend groups don't have the awkward conversations about, like, for example, masturbation, period, sexual preferences, like toys, things like that. These are all conversations I feel like you should be having. These are definitely conversations I make my friends have. I don't know if the conversations they want to have at first. I definitely coax it out of them. They end up liking it. It ends up being a cool conversation, and I feel like it's relevant. I mean, shit, I want to know what I like. I would hope you want to know what you like. I would hope your partner knows what they like. I mean, that's just me, but that's another thing I definitely recommend. Yeah, so a good friend group, a good group chat, a good just have someone that you can tell not your secrets, but at least your thoughts too. I know I personally have a big problem with overthinking. I'll like think of something, but then I'll think on it and think on it and think on it and think on it, and I'll make nothing something. I'll make nothing something. Nothing something. That's what I can do, okay? And it's ridiculous. Like, I will take like the smallest minute situation and I'll make obtuse rubber goose. Like, that's what I do. So it's horrible. And it's good to have someone that you can kind of like bounce your thoughts off. Like, I'll be like, hey guys, I'm going to drive all the way to Foxwoods to buy 3 dozen donuts from Krispy Kreme, and they're like, bitch, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit down. Swipe or no swiping. Like, they just, you know, they call you out on your shit, and that's good. It's good to have honest friends, because when you have like flaky fake ones that don't tell you when you're right or wrong, it don't help you build good character. There's that. Another thing I would say is definitely check your energies. And what I mean by that is know your surroundings. I, for one, am a person I'm an empath for one. So I feel everything very, 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 very hard. I'm a very, very, very emotional person. I don't always express that outwardly, like as far as crying. Well, shit, since 2020, I be crying, baby. But prior to, I wasn't very emotional as far as expressing that outwardly, as far as crying and things like that, or just being like openly like, I love you, you know, things like that with people. I am a lot more now. I feel like I was a lot more in 2019 as well. I'm at least more towards like the end or so. I got real Care Berry. Like, that's just my character assessment is like Care Bear. That's me. It's a Care Bear, babe. But yeah, so other than that, I definitely say check your energies. Make sure who's around you is positive. Make sure you know, you're finding ways to continue to have positive things coming into your life. I would definitely say another thing would be, for me, would just be having a creative outlet. I definitely realized towards the end of like 2019, definitely long before 2020 started, that I had lost every bit of creativity I had. Like, I used to design back in high school. I had a small clothing brand. Back in high school, like, I was really into fashion back in high school. Got accepted to NYU. Like, I was fashion in high school, and then I kind of integrated into, you know, society, and I got a desk job and started making money, and I did things that made me still feel like myself. Like, I have my tattoos, I have my haircut, I have my piercings, I have my clothing choices, I have my accessory choices, I have my things that still make me feel like myself per se, but I didn't have a creative outlet as far as something I was continuously putting effort into. And you have to treat your hobby like a job. Like, your hobby is a job. And I think I forgot that. Like, the first time I posted a video and it got 3 fucking views, I was like, fuck it. I'm like, don't make me Hulk out. Like, I was really stressed. And it was like, bro, it's been a day. And it's funny thinking about that now, where it's been like 3 months and 4 months maybe by the time I post the video. Roughly, I don't really know days, but roughly 3 to 4 months now, and I think I have like 56 subscribers, and like 983 hours viewed, which is like fucking sick considering I started 3 months ago. So, and considering I haven't really put a lot into anything so far, as far as camera, but stay tuned, babe. Stay tuned, because there's a privilege on the video, babe. It's a privilege, babe. Stay tuned, babe. But yeah, considering I haven't put as much money as I know a lot of other people might have, you know, might have put into their hobbies on day one. And so I'm grateful, thankful, and blessed to be here with the 56 subscribers. Actually, thank you guys so much for subscribing, for me having 56 subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm surprised that 56 people think I'm interesting enough to watch me. So next thing I would say you should have is, I have depression, so I take Lexapro. If you think you have any kind of medical condition, I would definitely say see whomever you need to see to get help for that. I have no problem accepting the fact that I have depression. It happens. I have always been a little depressed, honestly. I've always been a little, I'm on the sad side. And I have a little tragic life there, so I get why I've been on the sad side my whole life. But recent events happened, and it unlocked my whole inner being's ability to be sad. And I was like, this is the kind of sad that is unbearable. And I finally did what I needed to do to get on medication. It was a very hard thing for me to accept. I feel like, especially in the Black community, medication, especially for mental health, is very shunned upon, or even medication in general, depending on where you're from, kind of. My family's kind of country-ish, not country-ish, but we're from Alabama, roughly, so sometimes people are like, fuck that Maisie shit, and other people are like, yes, the medicine. I'm more of a, yes, the medicine person, but I really wasn't into antidepressants. I was seeing a holistic therapist for the longest, and we were like, weed. And like anything other than pills, because I was just like, I don't want to do pills. I hate pills. I can't remember to take them. But then I was like, yeah, no, this ain't it, baby. And I'm on antidepressants, and I feel great. I feel like before felt like I was so sad, like all I could see was sadness. Now I feel like I'm sad sometimes, but I can normally pick myself up out of it. You know, I'm like, hey, you're great, you're beautiful, you're kicking ass and you're taking names. You kick that ass, you take that name, girl. Thank you, ma'am. And then I'm like, hey, and then I'm great again. Another good thing I definitely recommend to help you have that attitude in life is, hear me, okay? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Okay? Fuck everyone's body standards. Fuck body count. Fuck body expectations. Fuck what people think if you have a disability, or if you don't have a disability, or people think you have a disability. Fuck preconceived thoughts. Fuck assumptions. Fuck anything that anyone thinks about you that you don't believe is accurate or makes you feel any way about yourself, because you're genuinely amazing just the way you are. And I hate to get all spiritual, but like literally God handcrafted you, one of one. You the only thing that look like you, unless you a twin, girl. But I mean, in any other circumstance, you're one of one, unless you're one of two. You one of two. Then y'all, if you're not a twin, damn it, you're one of one, and that's something special. Damn, it was a good, like, it was a good little, you know, power speech. I was really setting the tone, and then that one derailed us. But that's just some tips and tricks about how I love myself. I definitely also recommend having a bunch of mirrors in your place. I will show y'all the mirrors I have in my house. They just kind of make you reflect. Like, I look at myself when I like myself, and even when I don't like myself. Because when I don't like myself, I pick myself apart, and I'm like, wait, why? Like, give us a logical reason why we're doing that. Like, tell us who made us do that. Like, I just want to, like, I ask myself all that, like, why are we doing this right now? Because it's, like, it's okay to talk to yourself. Have conversations with yourself. Like, becoming a YouTuber has definitely unlocked my comfortability levels. I definitely say it would be something I would add to my resume as far as, a skill set, because I've now gained so much confidence as far as I know there's no one here but me. But I'm talking to you guys with so much animation, with so much enthusiasm, with so much oomph, pizzazz, whatever you want to call it, because I know that's how you're gonna want to receive it. You don't want to see someone that's like, my channel, you know, like I'm not gonna watch that. I'm not gonna pay to put an ad on that. So you already know what you want to throw out there. It definitely gives you a bunch of different skill sets. Probably the ugliest thing I've ever done. Shout out to me being single, but I'm kind of talking to somebody right now. We'll talk about that later if it wakes out, cause my life is shit, and you never know when a nigga wanna dip. But he's kind of cute and he likes me right now, and I like him too, and he makes me smile. Ew, it's so gross having feelings. Alright, we're done with that. He's gonna watch this and he's gonna be like, it's about me. It's about you. I don't know what I'm gonna name you. Like, what are gonna be our pet names for each other? If we had like if we work out, if we don't work out, I'm gonna look stupid. I'm gonna have to edit this part out then. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I love you all. You should love you as well. I know I am not the self-love guru at all, but fuck, honestly, I get life is hard. You might have been bullied. I know I definitely was. I remember all throughout high school, middle school, life period, I've had men, women, people in general tell me they'd like me more if I was smaller. I've always been a chunky girl. I've had a hard life. A lot of those things that have taken place in my life have caused me to do things to my body that I haven't always enjoyed. You know, I've gotten tattoos, I've gotten cover that I wasn't a fan of anymore. I developed eating orders and things like that I didn't want that for me, but it happened because of the circumstances and situations that I was going through. And I feel like people don't get that sometimes. You know, they come at you all types of ways. They don't really know what you're going through, and I get that. So you should get that for you. Fuck what anyone thinks about you, how you look. You should love you unconditionally, because no one else will. Genuinely, that's the one thing I feel like my 23 years of life has taught me. I've always been led to believe, or taught to believe, that everyone definitely has a good intent, possibly, but not always do they. And from what I see, more often than not, they do not. You need to protect yourself first, but no one's going to love you more than you, and the only way to show someone else how to love you is to love you unconditionally. And that's something I've learned in my singledom. Actually, I've been single for a little while now, but because I chose to be, and I say I'm single by choice, not by force. I'm single because I choose to be single. I decided to take that time out to work on myself, see a therapist, figure out what I liked and didn't like, figure out, you know, why I was taken so easily in my last relationship. Like, why I was just so angry. Like, was it really just that I wasn't good at relationships? Was it me? Was it the other person? And I figured out a lot. Like, it was me, it was them, it was my mom, it was my family, it was everything. It was a lot. But just know what you need for you before you can figure out what you need from someone else, and before you care about anyone else thinks about you. Just know what you feel for yourself first. Love yourself so people have an example of how to love you would be one of the most important things. I feel like now, as someone who's taken the time out to learn about themselves, to learn how to love themselves, I can now be like, hey, I don't fucking like that. Like, I don't like being left on red. If you're busy, Sim, yeah, I'm gonna be busy today, babe. I'll talk to you at the end of the day, text. And I can now, like, say how I feel. Like, I feel like before it was like, I'm angry, but I don't know how to tell you I'm angry, because I didn't take the time out to learn how to say I was angry. You know, there's a lot of things that happen in everyone's lives that they don't talk about, and I feel like that's one of the things therapy does. We're very hard people. As Black people, we're automatically conditioned to be hard, you know, and it's not by choice, it's definitely by force. I remember as a black kid, there were times where like I would be in the store and my grandmother would yoke me up and I'm like, bro, why are you grabbing up on me? But it wouldn't be because I did something wrong. It would be because the white man's trying to figure out why my hand's so close to the bag of potato chips, even though I'm not gonna steal the bag of potato chips, because my grandmother would literally slap the hot fucking piss fire out of me, you know? But like, he's not thinking that. He's seeing the dark kid over here looking at the potato chips. And it's things like that that like, now I'm mad at her and I'm like, why does she hate me? And she doesn't hate me. She's just trying to protect me from getting, you know, racially profiled by the guy who thinks I'm stealing potato chips. It's just like we didn't understand what was happening, so we've now internalized this hate, this anger, and we're now like mean other people. I feel like I've been in situationships, entanglements, if you where I'm like, why are you just mean to me? And they're like, that's how I receive love, so I'm giving it to you how I receive it. And I'm like, no, that's not my love language. You can't treat me like shit, and nah, that ain't it. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. She's a long one. I am not the curator of self-love. I do not know how to preach it, the testimonial of self-love. I am not the messiah of such, but I think I love myself the best I can. As a plus size woman, or as a person who's always been plus size, I've always had to kind of know myself. I just know what works for me. I hope some of these tips and tricks work for you. You should definitely love yourself. I definitely recommend that. Recommend a high dosage of self-care, because you're great. I mean, you're strong, you're brave, you're capable, you're amazing. You deserve everything that you have. I don't know where you're going or where you have been, but I know that you can overcome anything if you put your mind to it, because hell, why wouldn't you? You know, this is your one life to live. If you believe it's your one life to live, like I do, and you should live it to your best ability. I mean, YOLO, but like with all well intent.
Have you some mirrors, girl. They're good for you.